Life is what happens while you are busy making other plans, John Lennon. Think about the past year of your life. How many times did you say you would do something differently, only to postpone it? How many dreams were delayed by fear, procrastination, or the excuses we tell ourselves? The truth is, it's not the year that needs to change, but how you choose to live it. True rebirth doesn't happen on the calendar, but in your decision to act. This leads us to a powerful reflection. What truly shapes our lives? Anton Chekhov once said, "Man is what he believes himself to be." This statement reveals something essential. The way we think about ourselves forms the foundation of everything we build. It's not merely what happens to us that defines who we are, but how we interpret every situation, how we respond, and the meaning we assign to it. How often have you felt that everything seemed to go wrong, that bad luck was always on your side? Perhaps what needs to change isn't out there, but within you. Here is where a powerful metaphor comes in: the butterfly effect. It suggests that the simple flapping of a butterfly's wings can trigger a storm thousands of miles away. While this is a concept from chaos theory, it also teaches us something profound about life. Small adjustments can create massive changes. Now, imagine the impact of this in your inner world. Every thought, every belief, every choice you make is like the flapping of wings. It may seem insignificant at first glance, but it holds the power to transform the course of your reality. With a new year ahead, you have a window of opportunity. Perhaps the secret doesn't lie in dramatic revolutions, but in small, well-directed steps. Adjustments that change how you view the past, shape your beliefs, and turn ideas into real actions. And that's the key. It's not about what happened or what might happen. It's about who you choose to be from now on. So, are you ready to take the first step? Because what comes next could be the beginning of something you never imagined possible. Picture a small butterfly flapping its wings somewhere far away. Such a subtle movement seems insignificant, but according to the concept of the butterfly effect, it can trigger a storm on the other side of the world. This idea, rooted in chaos theory, carries a powerful truth about our lives. Small gestures, decisions, or thoughts can have massive consequences. Now, look within yourself. Every day, your mind is filled with thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you may not even notice. But what if those small thoughts were like butterfly wings? What if each subtle belief had the power to shape your entire life? Consider how a single belief can change everything. Imagine someone who, from a young age, believes they are not good enough. This idea becomes a lens that distorts everything they see. Opportunities appear as traps, compliments sound like sarcasm, and challenges seem like confirmations of their inadequacy. Conversely, someone who believes there is always a solution faces the same challenges but with a completely different mindset. Life is the same, but the meaning we assign to it is not. This is the key. Our thoughts are the wings that shape the direction of the storms and calms in our lives. Small changes in how we think can be as impactful as a shift in the wind. And this isn't just theoretical. Psychological studies show that mindset, the set of beliefs and attitudes we cultivate, directly influences our performance, health, and well-being. Psychologist Carol Dweck, for instance, found that people with a growth mindset who believe they can learn and improve are more resilient and achieve better outcomes than those with a fixed mindset, who think their abilities are innate and unchangeable. Recognizing the impact of our thoughts is a powerful step, but it's not enough. We need to know how to change. How do we turn negative beliefs into constructive forces? How can we use the butterfly metaphor to break free from what holds us back and steer our lives towards something greater? The turning of the year is just a reminder, a symbolic invitation to view the past and future as windows for transformation. But the truth is, you can open this window at any time. What if you started right now, regardless of the date? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? It seems like a simple question, but the truth is that the reflection we perceive isn't always what's actually there. The same happens with the world around us. It isn't necessarily as it is, but as we believe it to be. Our mind works like a movie projector. The film we load into it, whether consciously or unconsciously, shapes what we see. The beliefs we hold, whether about who we are or how the world works, create a filter that colors every experience. The external world is simply a reflection of what we carry inside. For example, Imagine someone who believes the world is full of opportunities. This person tends to see open doors, where others see walls, and acts with greater confidence. Now think of someone who believes the world is dangerous and unfair. For this person, even friendly gestures can seem suspicious. The actions we take, the connections we make, and even the opportunities we notice depend on what we believe is possible. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, explained this through his theory of the shadow. According to Jung, what we deny within ourselves, fears, desires, and insecurities, often gets projected onto the world. In other words, what bothers us in others or in circumstances is often a reflection of something within us. When we understand this, life stops being an external battle and becomes a journey of self-discovery. But the reflection isn't static. Just as we can change how we see ourselves in the mirror by adjusting our posture or the lighting, we can change what we project onto the world. The first step is simple yet powerful. Question your beliefs. Think about something you believe about yourself. Perhaps you think you're not good with numbers, or that you always have bad luck in relationships. Now ask yourself, is this really true? Or is it just a story you've told yourself so many times that it became a truth? By questioning our beliefs, we begin to open space for new reflections, new narratives, and new possibilities. And this leads us to an even deeper discovery. External transformation only happens when the internal world changes first. The next step is understanding how to train your mind to create a new reality, not just by recognizing your reflections, but by redirecting your focus towards something greater. If you point a camera at the night sky and adjust the focus to the stars, what happens? The distant lights shine with clarity while everything else fades away. The same happens with the human mind. What we choose to focus on shapes how we perceive the world, and ultimately, how we live our lives. Why does this matter? Because in practice, attention is the most valuable resource we have. It defines where we spend our energy, what we value, and consequently, what we accomplish. The problem is that we often let our focus be determined by external circumstances, or the internal voices that repeat fears and limiting beliefs. Here lies the key to transformation: learning to consciously redirect your focus. Psychologists like William James argue that what we choose to pay attention to becomes our reality. If you concentrate your attention on problems, everything feels like an unsolvable challenge. But if you focus on possibilities, new ideas and opportunities begin to emerge. Think about how this works in daily life. A person who focuses on their failures often gets stuck in self-criticism. Another, who learns from their mistakes and channels energy into improvements, turns every stumble into a stepping stone towards success. It's the same world, but completely different experiences, all because of focus. But how do you train this skill? A powerful method is the practice of conscious gratitude. When you spend a few minutes each day reflecting on things you're grateful for, even in difficult situations, you're training your mind to find light where there was once darkness. Studies show that people who cultivate this habit have greater resilience, emotional health, and even longer lifespans. Another example is the mental contrasting technique, which balances a vision of the future with the realities of the present. You imagine what it would be like to achieve your goal, but also reflect on the obstacles you need to overcome. This not only fuels motivation, but also keeps you grounded as you move forward. Redirecting focus takes discipline, but its impact is profound. You can't control everything that happens around you, but you can decide how to react and where to place your energy. Over time, this practice creates a cumulative effect. Your choices start transforming your reality, and this transformation feeds back into your choices. But there's an important detail. Focus doesn't mean ignoring challenges or problems. It means facing them with a mindset that creates space for solutions, not defeats. After all, what shapes the future most isn't what happens to you, but how you choose to respond. And this choice is connected to something even greater: the power of action. What you do after adjusting your focus is what truly defines the course of your life. Imagine a massive boulder in the middle of a road. From a distance, it seems impossible to move, but as you get closer, you realize you can use a lever, a small yet effective tool, to shift it with far less effort than you thought. In life, our actions work the same way. Small, well-directed movements can change everything. This is where many stumble. We get stuck in the idea that only grand actions can transform our lives. But what truly defines our path are the small, consistent steps, the ones that seem insignificant at the moment, but over time create a massive impact. Take, for example, the technique of the minimum commitment. It's simple. Instead of planning hours of studying or exercising, commit to just 5 minutes. It sounds trivial, but it's enough to overcome inertia. Often, the hardest part is starting. And starting, even with a small effort, creates the momentum needed to keep going. Another essential concept is the power of habit. As explored by authors like Charles Duhigg, habits are like trails in the snow. The more you walk the same trail, the easier it becomes to follow. When we begin replacing harmful habits with healthier ones, we create mental shortcuts that make future choices easier. Now, consider something interesting. All great changes in history began with seemingly simple actions. Nelson Mandela wrote letters while in prison. Those letters shaped the vision of a nation and inspired generations. Steve Jobs started building computers in his parents' garage. Every step, no matter how small, was crucial to the next. And you might ask yourself, how do I start? Especially when the future feels so uncertain. Here's the secret. Don't worry about the final result right now. Instead, focus on the next action. What can you do today that brings you even slightly closer to your goal? It could be as simple as reading a chapter of a book, making an important phone call, or setting aside 10 minutes to plan your week. These small actions create what we can call a domino effect. One initial movement sets off a chain of events that, in the long run, leads to significant changes. That's why Victor Hugo said, "Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come." And when you combine that idea with action, the impact is inevitable. But there's a crucial detail. Acting isn't always comfortable. It takes courage to step out of your comfort zone, to confront the internal resistance that keeps you in the same place. So, whenever you feel like giving up, remember, you don't need to take the perfect step, just the next one. The year is changing, and with it, you have a unique opportunity to plant the seeds for the future you desire. It's not about waiting for perfect motivation or ideal circumstances. It's about acting, even when it feels hard. This brings us to the final piece of the puzzle: how to align your actions with a greater purpose, creating a life that not only makes sense, but also inspires. Imagine you are out on the open sea, in a boat with no compass. You can row as much as you want, but without direction, you'll never know where you're headed. In life, purpose works like this compass. It doesn't eliminate challenges, but it gives you clarity about which path to follow. When we talk about meaningful changes, like the ones many people desire as a new year begins, purpose is the element that transforms intentions into consistent actions. Without it, even the best plans tend to falter at the first obstacle. But what does it mean to have a purpose? For some, it's pursuing a grand dream or achieving an ambitious goal. For others, it can be something simpler: taking care of family, living with integrity, or making the world a little better. The truth is, purpose doesn't need to be grand, but it does need to be authentic. It must resonate with who you are and what you value. If you're not yet clear about your purpose, don't worry. Often, it doesn't appear immediately, but reveals itself as you live, experiment, and learn. Start by asking yourself, what truly matters to me? Or, how do I want to be remembered? These simple reflections can bring powerful insights. Viktor Frankl, a psychologist and Holocaust survivor, wrote that the meaning of life isn't something we find, but something we create. He believed that even in the darkest moments, when everything seemed lost, purpose gave people the strength to go on. It's this connection to something greater that helps us face challenges and turn difficulties into opportunities. And here's the key point: purpose isn't fixed. It can change as we grow and evolve. What matters is that it aligns with the moment you're living in. For example, perhaps today your purpose is to take care of your physical and mental health. In the future, it might be to build a professional legacy or dedicate yourself to a social cause. But how do you bring purpose into your daily life? The answer lies in small decisions. Every choice you make can be guided by your purpose, from how you treat others to the projects you decide to take on. When your actions reflect your values, you create a sense of coherence that strengthens your self-esteem and motivates you to keep going. And remember, purpose doesn't mean the absence of difficulties. On the contrary, It gives us the strength to face challenging moments with resilience. It's like a lighthouse that illuminates the path, even in the most intense storms. As you reflect on this new cycle, think about what you truly want to build. It's not just about setting goals, but about living with intention, about making choices that reflect who you are and what you want for the future. Because, in the end, it doesn't matter whether we're at the start of a year or the middle of it. True transformation doesn't depend on the calendar, but on our willingness to act with purpose. So, what will you do today to align your actions with what truly matters? The answer to this question could be the first step toward creating the life you've always wanted. The year turns, the clock strikes midnight, but in truth, change goes far beyond the calendar. What defines a new beginning isn't the day or the hour, but the decision to do something different. You've come this far because you feel it's time to transform something in your life, whether it's your habits, the way you see the world, or the actions you choose to take. And the good news is that you already have all the tools you need. Reframe your thoughts to see possibilities where there were once limits. Recognize the power of small actions and take one step, no matter how small, toward what you want. Connect with your purpose, because it's what will guide your choices and give you strength in tough times. Life isn't perfect, but that's what makes it extraordinary. Each day is a new chance to learn, grow, and create. What will you do with it? And remember, the future isn't something that just happens. It's something we build, one step at a time, with intention and courage. Transformation begins now. May this new cycle, whether it's a year, a month, or just a day, be the starting point for the life you've always wanted to live. And remember, knowledge is the path to true freedom. Count on me and follow the white rabbit.